Welcome to the SCA AmeriCorps webinar for host site partners. This short video is a required training for our SCA site partners who host SCA interns enrolled as AmeriCorps members. My name is Haley Morway. I am the SCA's AmeriCorps Program Coordinator, and I work out of the SCA's New Hampshire office. SCA's program staff will still be your point of contact for any questions you may have about partnering with the SCA. During this session, I'll be giving an overview of SCA's partnership with AmeriCorps, what we need from you, the prohibited activities, time log approval process, performance evaluations, and tips for successfully hosting SCA AmeriCorps members. We know there's some extra work associated with supervising an AmeriCorps member, so why should you support AmeriCorps members? Not only is your SCA member receiving the added benefit of an AmeriCorps Education Award upon completion of their position, but they are also set up to do great things. Research shows that members benefit immensely from serving with AmeriCorps, like engaging in their community, solving problems, and pursuing higher education. SCA has a grant with a federal agency, the Corporation for National and Community Service, to offer our interns the option to enroll as AmeriCorps members as part of their SCA position. Please note that SCA cannot guarantee the AmeriCorps benefit for members, even if your position is eligible. AmeriCorps is a grant, and like any grant, SCA needs to compete annually for continued funding, and the number of spots that we have in the program are limited. If after this training you'd prefer not to have the AmeriCorps enrollment option for your SCA members, contact your SCA partner coordinator. When an SCA intern chooses to be an AmeriCorps member, their internship becomes an AmeriCorps National Service position, which adds another layer to the position. SCA has made a commitment to AmeriCorps that our members will complete a community outreach project where they are serving. We train our members on the details of the project. We just ask that you support them as needed. There is a short tutorial video on our Conservation Nation website if you wish to learn more about the outreach project. AmeriCorps members also commit to serving a minimum number of hours, completing their full term of service, and submitting additional paperwork. If they complete all these things and receive a satisfactory end-of-term evaluation from you, they'll receive an education award at the end of their position. It's important to know that a member who leaves their SCA position early, even to be hired for a full-time position at your agency, must forfeit their education award because they have not met their full term of service. However, if their position's duties have been completed before the scheduled end date, this exception can be discussed with your SCA partner coordinator. Education awards can be used on federal student loans, current tuition, or education expenses at qualifying institutions, and is often the motivating factor when members are choosing to enroll as an AmeriCorps member. More information is available online at nationalservice.gov. Just type Education Award in the search box. The member's AmeriCorps term and the amount of their education award depends on the number of weeks of their position and when they're selected. These amounts change year to year and take effect when a member is selected. We call these interns SCA AmeriCorps members, and they have a three-part identity that includes SCA, AmeriCorps, and your agency. When you host an SCA intern who is an AmeriCorps member, AmeriCorps becomes an important partner with you. SCA handles most of the paperwork and compliance tracking, but since AmeriCorps is a government-funded program created by congressional legislation, there are specific rules about what members can and cannot do, and some specific performance measures that we need to report on. As the person overseeing the day-to-day service of the SCA AmeriCorps member, this is where we need your assistance. When working alongside AmeriCorps, you'll need to do this SCA AmeriCorps host site partner training once a year. By viewing this video, you are completing this requirement, so just send us an email that you have completed it. You have to certify that you have read and understood the host site partner agreement annually by signing electronically and emailing a copy to AmeriCorps@thesca.org. It outlines the rules and regulations of AmeriCorps, so if you haven't done it yet, after this video is a great time. It can be found on the AmeriCorps partner page of our Conservation Nation site. You will also have to provide data to us about the accomplishments of the position. By completing the annual training and host site agreement, you should be able to identify compliance red flags and have enough knowledge to review member time logs for accuracy. Next, we'll talk about the compliance side of things. Since you'll be approving the time logs that certify member hours for AmeriCorps, we're required to make sure that you understand what is prohibited. We review all position descriptions for AmeriCorps eligibility, but since you are the one who knows the specifics of your position, please contact your SCA partner coordinator if you're concerned about any activities taking place. It's always best to err on the side of caution. We all have to be careful not to put the Education Award benefit at risk. The AmeriCorps prohibited activities are as follows. AmeriCorps members have to meet unmet needs. This means they cannot take the job of a staff person or a volunteer, or do general office or janitorial work. Interns in AmeriCorps have to be working on a specific project that would not otherwise be done. Sometimes partners have questions about this because internships look similar to paid positions. Your member might be working alongside park staff, but they are doing that for educational purposes. Unlike staff members, it's about hands-on training and experience. Fundraising is generally not allowed for AmeriCorps members. One small exception is that it's okay for members to raise funds that support a project that they are planning and carrying out during their position. These projects are member-led, planned, and directed. An example might be a member raising money to set up a community garden. If you think this is true for your position, check with SCA program staff to make sure you're clear on how to document it. AmeriCorps members are not allowed to engage in any activities that involve money handling, like collecting entrance fees or selling hunting permits, and there are no exceptions. Any activities that give the impression of partisanship are also prohibited. Members cannot be involved in union-related activities or discussions. Religious instruction and proselytization is also prohibited. Members cannot provide a benefit to a for-profit business. And lastly, any involvement with abortion services and referrals is also prohibited. Beyond these prohibited activities, there are many more rules governing what SCA can and cannot do with our interns enrolled in AmeriCorps. We won't go into detail about all the requirements. Just be aware that flexibility, especially around member payments or changes to dates, is limited when it comes to SCA interns who are in AmeriCorps. Contact your SCA partner coordinator for guidance if you're considering making modifications to member payments, or if your member is taking any extended time off, is starting later than expected, or is considering finishing early, even if it's just a change in one day. In order to continue to receive the AmeriCorps grant that provides the Education Award benefit, SCA needs to not only stay in compliance, which we've been talking about up till this point, but also show that these members are meeting unmet needs and completing the critical conservation duties we said they would do. Data is what we're going to talk about next. One of your weekly tasks as an SCA AmeriCorps host site partner will be to approve your member time logs. When you approve those logs, you're certifying that the hours weren't spent doing any prohibited activities that we just mentioned, and that the information is accurate. Time logs are submitted to you electronically by your member, and there are two types, activity and output logs. The activity log is the one that looks like a weekly timesheet. Members use their SCA activity logs to report on their service and training hours. There should be one entered for each week, whether or not they worked any hours. The other type of logs member complete are output logs, which report accomplishments of each project, and they fall under 3 to 5 categories that the member spends most of their time doing. The main thing for you to know is that all hours that a member serves, not including lunch breaks or time off, will be recorded in the activity logs, but not everything a member does will be recorded in the output logs. We have trained your members about how to complete these logs. Your role is just to make sure that the data submitted is correct and free of prohibited activities before approving or rejecting each one. After your member submits a time log, either activity or output, it will appear in your portal. You will need to click into each log to review it. AmeriCorps members must be exited from the AmeriCorps program within 30 days of their last day in the field. This gives our staff time to review the time logs and determine if the member should receive their award. So it's important to approve these time logs on a regular basis, because a member cannot be exited without all of their time logs approved by a supervisor. This is an example of an activity log, which looks like a timesheet. Each one should cover a 1-week period from Sunday to Saturday and show the number of hours spent in service, training, or fundraising for each day, with a short description of their activities. We only offer AmeriCorps for positions where the members are working full-time. Please be sure that your member has an ample opportunity to complete their minimum number of hours with a reasonable amount of vacation or sick time off. The summary at the top of the log shows total hours overall, so that your member can keep track of the minimum required hours. If it's correct, approve the log. If there's an issue, reject it and let your member know what needs to be fixed before they submit a new log. Since activity logs are crucial to proving that a member has met the AmeriCorps minimum required hours, you can request from your SCA partner coordinator that a second supervisor on site also has permission to approve a member's time logs. This way, if you're out of the office, the time logs are still being reviewed regularly. The output logs will also be listed as time logs in your portal. This is what an output log looks like. All output logs should have a category of work and a subcategory of work. These fields help us group the types of work being completed by SCA members nationwide and report on them using specific units of measurement. In this example, the member was removing structures as a part of the restoration project. The units of measure are always in parentheses after this category or subcategory. In this example, we're asking for how many structures were removed. The How Much You Did field tells how much of that work was accomplished. In this example, the member removed 13 structures. This is where we're counting on you to make sure that the data is correct and that the number is measuring the correct units. Also make sure that your member is not reporting on the same work multiple times. For example, if a member was removing invasive plants from a 1-acre plot and returned to that same acre at the end of the season, they shouldn't report the same acre a second time. If it was reported twice, it would look like 2 total acres of land, when really it was 1. Output logs can cover any period of time and any number of hours. They only need to complete 1 log per category. So in this example, this member was removing structures between July 15th and August 5th, and it took her 20 hours to complete this work. The last thing you should make sure that you are checking when approving output logs is the number of SCA members. If there's a team of members completing work together, one person should do the output log for the whole group. This is so we don't duplicate reporting the same work. For example, if two members were working together to tear down one structure and they both reported that they tore down one structure, it would look like two structures were torn down. And last but not least, after your SCA AmeriCorps position concludes, please be ready to complete an end-of-position survey with questions related to our AmeriCorps performance measures. As long as you follow the instructions in the email and the survey that accompanies it, you'll be doing exactly what we need. We encourage you to use this data for your own reporting. It's not currently available for you to download directly, but your SCA partner coordinator can always email you a summary if requested. Before we wrap up, we'd like to leave you with some tips to make your SCA AmeriCorps position more successful for both you and your member. Please encourage your member to utilize their SCA member advisor. Their role is to manage members in the field and add an extra layer of support. And if they're unsure of who this is, their name is listed at the top of the member's My SCA homepage. We also ask that you encourage your members to engage with SCA's website, conservationnation.org. Members can use this website to blog, post photos, and feel connected to other SCA members. It also has a group for AmeriCorps members to find useful resources and tutorials related to their requirements. We encourage you to stay in touch with your SCA partner coordinator. SCA is here to support you and your member when things are not going as planned or as you had hoped. The earlier we're engaged, the more we can help. We'd rather you err on the side of over-communicating with the SCA partner coordinator. Also know that your partner handbook is a great resource. It answers a lot of process-related questions. And keep an eye out for emails from the SCA. If we need assessments or data about accomplishments, we will reach out to guide you through the steps. As mentioned before, when it comes to AmeriCorps positions, we have limited flexibility, so stay in touch early in the process so that we can be sure that your member will not be negatively impacted by any changes along the way. The Partner Handbook has a chapter devoted to AmeriCorps. If you have any questions related to hosting an SCA AmeriCorps member, this is a great place to start. Also, if you know you won't be the only staff member supervising your SCA AmeriCorps member, we encourage you to share this video, as well as the handbook, with anyone else at your agency. Our Conservation Nation site also has a partner requirements page for AmeriCorps positions, in case you need to find this video again. Thank you for your time today. We realize that joining the AmeriCorps program as part of your SCA partnership requires more of you. All of this extra work is worth it for the Education Award benefit that we are able to provide to your interns through this program. This partnership with AmeriCorps truly helps us build the next generation of conservation leaders.